So how many of you are used to this? I mean the fingerprint scanner. But with the Oppo A3s, you have to get used to this. The face unlock. So what's up guys, hope everyone's doing well, and in this video we'll discuss how good the Oppo A3s is. So let's move on. So we'll start off with the screen, and I have to say that I'm pretty much satisfied with the Oppo A3s 6.2 inches IPS LCD display. Actually, I'm used to one of the best displays on a smartphone, and yes, I'm talking about the S9 Plus, and I had a bad feeling for the Oppo A3s because it can only manage 271 ppi density with a screen resolution of 720 by 1520, but I was more than content with its sharpness and color reproduction. However, it is not as good under direct sunlight. Now moving on, I love the color red on the Oppo A3s. It looks vibrant, happy, and makes it look like a little bit expensive phone than it is. Now talking about looking expensive, the back of this phone looks like glass, but I'm pretty sure it's just plastic. And the rest of the bag includes a dual camera with a flash and the Oppo branding. I'm sure I like that bag. On the front, we have minimum bezels all around with a notch at the top housing a front camera, earpiece, and a sensor. The right side of the phone includes volume controls and a SIM tray that can house dual SIM and a microSD simultaneously, whereas the left side includes a power button. The buttons are clicky and they feel good. And apart from this, a USB Type-A port is flanked by a headphone jack and a mono speaker which sounds decent and is just loud enough. Now the Oppo A3s doesn't have the best spec set, but it comes with Qualcomm's entry-level Snapdragon 450 processor and 2 GB of RAM. I did not have high hopes of playing PUBG, which is one of the two games that I play in my mobile phone, other one being the Asphalt 9. However, I did play both of these games and they were playable in the lowest setting. They were lax in status with PUBG, that is obvious, but it's pretty much playable, whereas the Asphalt 9 performed pretty decent. Now the overall performance is decent and smooth, but there were some minor hiccups when there were plenty of background activities going on, or if you were receiving plenty of notifications at once. Now besides this, I never felt that the phone was slowing down while opening or switching between apps or using multiple apps. Okay, now let's see how good the dual camera on the back of this phone is. The dual setup features a 13 megapixel and a 2 megapixel sensor. The camera UI is pretty straightforward. Most of the features can already be seen upon opening it. On the left you have flash toggle, HDR, timer and full screen mode, whereas you can switch between the 5 camera modes from the right: time-lapse, portrait mode, video, photo and panorama to be exact. Talking about the picture quality, the images produced have good details and color in decent lighting. There is good amount of detail and highlights look balanced in daylight pictures, but same is not the story under low light situations. Highlights are a little bit overblown, moving objects will get blurry with slight movement, and the noise is quite visible. Something I noticed is that you need to get too close to the subject for portrait mode, and the edge detection is not that good. As for the front camera, the features are almost identical except for the added bokeh effect. Just like with the rear camera, the selfie camera produces decent results with good enough lighting, but if you are shooting against the light, it will give you a blown out effect which you will not like. Also, the beauty mode is just too much for my liking. However, the front camera does not perform as bad as the rear camera in low light conditions. Now moving on to the videos can be recorded up to 1080p 30 fps on both rear and front cameras. We notice that it does not have any stabilization as it tends to get shaky with just the slightest of the movement. Now moving on to the UI and experience, it's a mixed reaction for me. I mean, I do not like the big icons and a lack of app drawer is a definite turn off. However, I like the additional tweaks that Oppo has included in the color OS, like the game space. It lets you turn on graphics acceleration, turn off notifications, and simply makes the gaming experience much more smoother. And while using apps or games in the landscape mode, you'll get inbuilt screen recorder, screenshot, floating window option, and notification toggle. I found this quite useful. Now these were some things I really liked, but the thing I did not like the most is you cannot get rid of notifications in the notification bar by swiping right. You'll need to press that tiny close button, and also I'm not a fan of reset app window of the color OS. I'm sorry Oppo. Aside this, the face unlock did manage to impress me. It worked most of the times under good lighting, and even under pitch dark situation it did manage to unlock the phone, but it was not consistent. The brightness compensation feature does help unlock the phone better in the dark situations though. Now let's talk about the most exciting feature of the Oppo A3s. Oppo A3s carries a large 4230 mAh battery that can last for a long while. It is exceptionally good and you will get a 2 days of battery life on average use. I was also impressed with the standby time, which tells me that the battery life is not going to give up easily on you. However, it takes almost 3 hours to charge it from 0 to 100. Now Oppo A3s is a good budget phone if you're looking for a phone with amazing battery life and decent performance. However, its rear camera performance, limited internal storage and 2 GB of RAM are its major cons. The exclusion of the fingerprint sensor was not a big deal for me because the face unlock works pretty well, but I would have loved a larger internal storage and an improved rear camera. So we'll end the video on that note. Until next time, tada bye bye.